Woo! Good morning, guys. As you know, when we left Susafle, we were pretty downtrodden, and the reason why is we had, well, obviously all the engine problems were leading the charge, but we had 150 kilometers of washboard roads ahead to get to the paved roads. Now, we knew from coming in on those really bad washboards, we could only do about 20 to 30 kilometers per hour. And so 150 kilometers, that's about 5 hours of grueling, bouncing pain is what we were figuring on. My gut was just in knots. I mean, again, with this vehicle, I'm just beside myself. But we got down the road a little ways, and the road was not quite as rough as it was on the way in. And so we tried it like you do on washboards, where you get up and get some speed and get up on top of the bump. And well, the van was kind of coming apart a little bit, but we were making good time. Now, the whole time, this whole scenario of what are we gonna do about the van? We've had it in the shop so many times. We've still got a bad oil leak. I mean, it's bad, guys. I mean, I'm putting in 1 liter of oil a day. 1 liter of oil a day. And so the leak is bad. We also hear a whistle from the turbo coming back. And so we're just crushed. We ended up making it in about 2.5 to 3 hours. So it really turned out so much better than we had thought. It was still a tough morning and wore us out. We found another 5 liters of oil. That was another concern we had. We were afraid we were going to run out of oil out there. So we found another 5 liters of oil, and we're like beelining to Cape to get this thing in the mechanic. Now, we had to stop along the way, so we got back to the main road, which is B1. So we even made it further than we thought. The campground that we had picked out that had a pretty nice restaurant was closed or was full at capacity, so we found kind of a secondary one. Nothing to show you guys. Got up that morning, drove another, well, we have to go to the vet.
So we could have drove farther yesterday, but we are headed to a town where the state vet is, because although we have not been asked for papers for the kitty cats at the borders all through West and Central Africa, down here that comes back. So if you were with us in Central and South America, we are now back in the land where we'll probably have to go to vets for each border crossing. So this is what we've been calling the vet town. I think it's like Keatman's Hoop or something like that.
Keatman's Hoop or something.
Yeah, so we'll go here this morning. I could not figure out how to make an appointment, so we're just going to try to be there when they open. Hopefully we can get that done today and keep heading south towards the border. But as we were headed to that town, a couple of things. In this town, just outside of it, is kind of a national park with these things. What kind of trees are they called?
They're quiver trees.
Quiver trees, and that's something I really wanted to do, was go to the Quiver Tree National Park, because they're so cool. But it is a side trip we're not going to get to do because of the van. So we, Curt found a campsite about 30 kilometers or 15 miles or so north of the vet town that has some of these quiver trees. So we got there last night. We were able to walk around. The kitties got walks in these trees, so we got to appreciate the famous quiver tree, even though we are missing the really big, cool national park.
And let me just cut Snow off right there and say, these roads have been really hard on G-Money, and we know, so we want to get him some space. So it was really nice. Me and him took a long walk into the tree. Vanna had a walk as well, and I was able to sit with him, and I guess we were out there probably for a couple hours looking at the trees. And
sitting on rocks.
Sitting on the rocks, watching the sun go down. And it was a quirky little place with all kinds of like weird little decorations.
Yeah, it was a neat little camp. So if you're coming through here and you want to see the quiver trees without going to the big national park, it's a cool place to do that. But now we are caught up. It's been 2 nights since we've vlogged and caught y'all up, but you're caught up. We are about 15 minutes from the vet. So let's go see if we can get these kitties some papers to go to South Africa and keep on our journey to the mechanic. Our first time dealing with pet papers at a border in a long time, and it was so painless. They're thorough, they check all their records, they do that, but the vet, just like the Namibian people, was incredibly kind. She took their papers, asked me a couple of questions, started filling out the form. I paid 80 Namibian, which is like $4, for this form. So there it is. The kitty cats can now cross the border into South Africa. She did say we'll have to pay a bigger fee at the border to South Africa, but the kitties can leave Namibia and enter their 51st country. So it's still early. It's only like 8:30. Let's get on the road. You helping Curt drive? Alright, we are leaving the vet town. We are southbound towards the border. It's probably about 3 hours away. We smelled a little burning oil, so we gave it a look. It's probably just where it's spilling, but we wanted to check it before we left town. Curt topped it off this morning. Let's go to South Africa, and then after that is Cape Town. It's still quite a drive, but once we get across the border, I can start projecting what day we'll get to Cape Town, and then we'll be able to start making an appointment at the, what's it called? The mechanic shop. First up, crossing the border.
There has been a driver change, and we are closing in on the border of South Africa. So we will be leaving Namibia within less than an hour. And as bummed as we kind of are, I feel it only fitting that we do a little recap about Namibia before we leave, because this place has been off the charts amazing, and I think Snow and I can agree it's one of our favorite countries of all the 50 we've done in the van.
Without a doubt. I mean, zero doubt it is It could be number one. It is guaranteed to be a top 3 country, and it'll be hard to ever knock it off that list.
I think people always ask us, like, what is your favorite country? And to be honest with you, we're like, it depends on what you're looking for, you know, really, because we have been to so many beautiful, amazing places. But Namibia, the wildlife, you know, up at Onguma, Etosha, out on the peninsula, which is not, or out on
Caprivi.
Out on the Caprivi Strip. I mean, it has been incredible. The lions, the elephants, the giraffes, the leopards. Oh my God, Okajima.
Yeah.
The leopard tracking experience was out of this world. So many incredible wildlife experiences. The camp spots are second to none. $20 to $30 a night typical, and for 2 people, and that includes generally your own bathroom, your own shower, your own barbecue pit, which they call braai here. A lot of them are right out in the bush, in the nature. So cool and easy for van life.
The people here, the Namibian people, are kind and welcoming, and it's genuine. It's not like they're just being nice to you because you're a tourist. Although the tourists, there is a nice, you know, infrastructure here for us, but the people are just overall kind, warm, and welcoming, and that always adds to making a country good.
Absolutely. And when Snow says people, you know, we've had a lot of amazing tour guides, but also the owners who own the different farms and private reserves we've stayed at. We've met and chatted with a lot of them. Also, we've had a lot of work done in the van, unfortunately. So we've had a lot of dealings with local businesses, and just generally the people who we've met along the way have been super cool and super kind, to Snow's point. And then also, I gotta say, the scenery here, you know, and when we were up in the wildlife area, you wouldn't catch me saying this, but as we worked over to the coast, over to Swakopmund, over to Walvis Bay, and over in there, and we started to get down into this Namib Desert, which is the oldest desert in the world, it just put on a spectacle of beauty, of scenery, of deserts, of dunes, of mountains, of landscapes, of colors, of skylines. I mean, it has just been dramatic, and it has been beautiful. Now, Namibia has not been without challenges for us. As you guys know, early on we lost a tire. We had some major work done in Windhoek. We had a beautiful Airbnb there, and Windhoek is a nice capital city as well. So we have kind of seen the entirety of this country, or a good portion of it. Now, due to the engine failures as we leave here, we are having to drive past or through Fish Canyon. That was a big one on our bucket list. The second largest canyon in the world, only second to the Grand Canyon. So we're bummed, but at the same time, we are absolutely delighted with Namibia.
One thing I would say is it is set up, this country is set up beautifully for overlanding. It is set up where you can come in and rent your own overlanding vehicle for 2 or 3 weeks and make the loop. It is set up to just rent a car and drive from resort to resort. This is a country, if you're wanting an epic 2 to 3 week vacation, put it on your list. This is not just a van life or an overlanding destination. This is somewhere everyone should come see.
If this is not in your top 3 dream destinations, then either A, you don't like animals, wildlife, and scenery and nature, which is okay, and or B, you're intimidated by the distance that it takes to get here. But other than that, wow. Thank you, Namibia. We have enjoyed it. And
there's the border.
There's the border, and now we are headed into South Africa. Another chapter. Turn the page. All right, so we're at the South African border, and Snow's just finishing up with the cat paperwork, and she was spotted. So what are you guys' names?
Gerard and Liz.
Gerard and Liz. And they've been following our journey, And they came by and said hey, and they're super sweet. They just did 9 days in Namibia, and now they're going home. Anyway, they stopped by and said hey. Thanks, guys.
It's official. We have left Namibia. Welcome to
South Africa.
South Africa. So that border was very streamlined, very efficient, signs on the doors, easy to know where to go, friendly border agents, went through the process, nothing surprising, nothing hard. When we were checking into South Africa, they actually had the signs numbered, so you go to number 1 office, the number 2 office, and the number 3 office, so it's really easy. The number 4 office was the pet agriculture office, and it was super easy. They just looked at the paper we got at Namibia this morning. I had to pay 290 Rand, which is maybe like, I don't know, 11 or 12 US dollars. So,
but Snow was walking out and she got spotted.
We got spotted by some people that watch the channel, so it was very nice to run into you guys at a border. That was awesome. Thanks for flagging us down and saying hello. Since the border, we have made really good progress, which means tomorrow will be an average day to get to our destination instead of a really long day. But, Curt, first impressions of this South Africa drive?
Well, the roads are nice, a little bit better than Namibia, and we kind of came in through a mountainous area, and I gotta tell you, the mountains are stunning. There's random quiver trees, a lot of little short sagey stuff, and some of it even has like purple, yellow, blue flowers, and again, just all sorts of dramatic boulders and big rocky formations. So really, it's been really remote and beautiful.
Yeah, and we stopped off at our first little town where we were able to get some South African Rand, that's the money here, out of the ATM and fill up with fuel. Fuel prices seem to be about the same, a little over $1 a liter, so a little over $4 for a gallon. So not really a big change. And here we don't have to worry too much about getting a new SIM card because our eSIM cards that we have with a company called Airlo, they work here. They didn't work in Namibia. So it's nice just to be able to flip a switch and have cell phone. So things are going pretty good here for our first few hours in South Africa. We are about 15 minutes where we hope to camp for the night. But as much as things are going wrong with the van, everything else right now is going really, really good. So I hope I didn't just jinx us. Right, Curdy?
Yeah, fingers crossed. We still got a ways to go.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to make it, guys.
Yeah. We did check the oil at the gas station. It's down a little bit, so we'll probably have to top it off some more in the morning before we get back on the road. So we do still have a massive oil leak, averaging maybe almost a liter or a quart a day.
A little over a liter a day.
Yeah.
A liter and a piece a day is about what we're
it's
drawing.
definitely a big issue. Some of it splatters up on the hot parts of the engine from time to time, and we smell the burning, and that's always scary. So hold on, mechanic, we are headed your way.
What are you doing? Are you ready to stop?
She's telling you. She's telling you that's enough driving for one day. We're almost there, guys. 10 minutes, 8 minutes. Yeah. Can open it up right there. Works, right?
That's it, right there.
Home sweet home. Got the other oil, or you need this one?
I still got the other one.
Okay. Okay. We're getting an early start this morning to try to get to Cape Town. Hopefully in time to swing by the mechanic today before we go move into our Airbnb that we've booked there in the city. So in the morning they'll be expecting us. That's the plan. We'll have to see how today goes. First things first, add a little oil. Come on, big white beast. You can make it. A few more hours to the mechanic shop, baby doll. The GPS says it is 4.5 hours to the mechanic shop, 433 kilometers. So it'll probably be more like 5 hours, plus we'll probably stop for a kitty break or a lunch break or a coffee break here and there. So hopefully we can get to the mechanic by around 1 o'clock, see what they have to say, and then get us to the Airbnb in plenty of time to get checked in before the sun goes down. That's the goal. First things first, it's still dark here at the campground. Curt checked the oil. We were a little low, which we expected because we have a huge oil leak. But it's topped off, and we're gonna hit the road. Let's go, guys.
We are on the road, and we pulled off to get some fuel and to check our tire, because this morning our tire was low. And to add insult to injury, drama to the saga, just our luck, the front left tire is going low. Now, back in Namibia, well, I guess it's been about 3 weeks ago, we had the rim repaired because the tire was going low. And so we think maybe that repair didn't hold, because we just went 100 kilometers and had to put more air in the tire. So we have about 3 hours left to go, and it looks like we can drive an hour, put air in, drive an hour, put air in. If we come across a tire shop, we'll have them look at it along the way. Oh, guys, this is another white knuckle situation. So we're pushing on, but I just do want to say this. The area we're coming through right now is stunning, and we just came through the flower region, and I just learned that at this particular time of year there is the rainy season. It's winter here, but in about another month will be the peak flower season, depending on the rain or not. So the flowers happen in winter. Now, as we came through Springbok in that area, we saw wide ranges of purple flowers, orange flowers, yellow flowers. Well, apparently that's nothing compared to what it's going to be in the next month. So that is the beginning of the bloom. I don't know that we'll make it back up here for that. Unfortunately, at least we saw a little bit of it. But also, as we come through here, we're seeing some amazing mountain scenes, big plateaus. There's this one big, I think it's called Mumba or something. Anyway, this huge mountain with the big flat plateau. Apparently you can drive up there, drive around up on top. Something we no doubt would have done if we weren't crushed for time. But yeah, there's just oil splattered all over the side of the van. We're losing oil, we're losing air in our tires. We're limping it in, fingers crossed we make it. I think we have, what, 2.5 hours more to go officially. So, yeah, guys, another day in the life. And another thing, as we come through here, this is also wine country, or at least a small wine region. Now here there's a lot of sort of, I guess, greenhouses or maybe filter mesh over top of a lot of the vineyards. We also saw some citrus, but we have come through a couple beautiful vineyards through here. So this is at least the start of, or the edge of, wine country. We're pretty far south here in western South Africa, and we're seeing all these citrus trees. And so I was really curious why citrus is growing this far south. Particularly, we're kind of in a mountainous region as well. And what we learned is that this particular region has a Mediterranean environment, which also explains why it's a wine region, olives, olive oil, all that type of stuff. I would have never thought that you'd have a Mediterranean environment down in South Africa, but that's just what we learned. And we're finding it fascinating driving through here and looking at all the citrus trees, the wine vineyards, as well as just the stunning views. And we're also enjoying the nice roads. And I do have to say, we were happy with Namibia, but these roads are even better than Namibia. All right, we have come to a town called Citrusdale, which is appropriate because there is tons of citrus trees everywhere, including mangoes. And anyway, we found a tire shop, and so we're just losing air too fast out of that tire. We're gonna go see if we can get that fixed before we get into town and get to the other shop. We don't have an appointment at the Mercedes dealership, so we don't know if they'll take us today or not or what. So anyway, we're headed to the tire shop. I hear it.
That's what it's exactly what I was hearing before I put in the water. Seems like it's on the inside.
Oh, here.
The rim's damaged there. I think I must been taking some knocks.
Let's take a look at on the other side. Oh, look at this right here.
Vice versa on this side and then on that side.
Yeah, torque wrench, yay! I was telling him that we are in Namibia and they changed my tire and I got down the road 50 kilometers and my tire came off. Drove right past me and went about a mile up the road. It kept going. That was scary. So we're all fixed up now, but just so the rim was leaking in two places. That was indeed a rim that was repaired before. These two leaks were in different places. So basically the rim is just done. They put in a tube which will get us to the Mercedes dealership. We'll have to get a new rim, maybe two. We'll probably replace the other one that was repaired. The cost was about $25. They got us right in. The guy actually had to do some grinding on the repair of the weld because the bead was still there, and so he did some grinding around the inside of the rim to make sure that the inner tube doesn't get sliced or cut or whatever. Anyway, we still have about 160 kilometers, so maybe about a 2-hour drive, hour and a half drive to the Mercedes dealership. Hopefully they'll be able to get us in this week. We've got oil sprayed all over the side of the van. We are, again, like a stuck record, limping this thing home. So hopefully we make it, guys. Fingers crossed.
As we pulled out of the town where we got the tire fixed, we drove through a mountain pass, and man, it was really pretty. Definitely a little bit of an elevation climb, which gave us some good views out over the valleys. And as we popped out the other side of that pass, everything kind of changed. It's definitely total farmland, but it's green, and there's like real grass, not desert grass, real green grass growing on the side of the road. We came down out of the mountains, and we're now driving through the farmland, and not only did the terrain change, but the farm animals changed. We are back in the land of the sheep. So it's been a while since we saw sheep. We've been seeing goats and cows, but we are definitely back in the land of the sheep as we get farther and farther south. So we strolled in about 4 o'clock into the Mercedes commercial shop here in Cape Town. It's called Orbit. It's the place we've researched and we've had a few locals tell us about. And when we rolled in, it is zero doubt it is the place we need to be. There were Mercedes trucks and vans everywhere. And we went in, Curt waited for a little bit, met with the shop manager there. Very busy there, but he managed to get it where we have an appointment one day next week. But we can leave the van there while we're waiting on the appointment, which is good because it is just dripping oil like crazy. So we are going to go get settled into our Airbnb that we'll be staying in while we see what is wrong with our van and if it can be fixed. It's been a stressful few days getting here, but I feel good that we made it. I feel good with the way the shop looks and feels.
Yeah, the thing is, though, his prognosis, to be honest with you, was not good. And obviously they're going to have to get in there and look at it. But I think, in the very least, they're going to have to drop the engine. Which means we don't know if it's... We don't know.
We don't know, guys. We don't know. But with that, we're going to wind this video down. We'll see y'all in a few days. From, I guess, here in Cape Town. Who knows? We're going to try to put out one more cheers for you, even though it's kind of doom and gloom here in the van. Cheers, guys. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you guys know when we put out new videos. And don't forget, you can always follow us over on Instagram to see what's going on in between videos. Cheers, guys.